everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and today folks we are doing another pick a card reading. The question that I have in mind for you today is if they find you attractive. Now I am thinking in terms of love and romance and flirting and all of these fun things, but it might also apply for you in the context of work or in business or in some other area of life that is not necessarily about love and romance. So see how you tune into this reading and how you're going to absorb the messages so that it resonates with you. I have 5 charms today. We're working with charms today, not stones, and they're all really pretty charms that I really love. This is the hook charm, very well matched with the question. This is a beautiful key that I have for you. This is the lovely lock that I found one day in Damascus in an antique store. This is a beautiful feather pendant. And finally, the scissors charm. So you can pause the video to tune into the charm that you want to use for this reading, and as always you will find the timestamps in the description box. And so I will see you in your reading. Okay, hook group, here we are with your reading and your charm nearby. For you, I am going to do a 9-card portrait. And remember, we are tuning into if they find you attractive. And I also want to address the question of how you can improve yourself or what you can do to become more attractive. So let's go ahead and fan out your deck and draw your 9 cards for the portrait. Okay, hook group, these are some really interesting cards that I'm getting for such a question, and I'm finding a mix of cards in here, but it's really nice to see the star on the right hand column. So we have a few challenging cards here. We have the snake, coffin, and scythe in this bottom corner, and we have the very interesting book that figures right in the middle of your portrait. So what do you think this is going to mean in answer to your question? At the top here, the card that covers you, we have the rider. This is a lovely card for being active, for being proactive, for taking initiative. So it's possible with the book and woman that you need to reveal a little bit more about yourself. The book in the center is about all things closed, things that are unrevealed. And I feel that with the rider at the top here, it might be a good idea to make yourself a bit more known, to reveal more aspects of yourself so that the other person can make up their mind about how they feel about you, if they find you attractive or interesting. This could be a really helpful suggestion that comes through the rider and book. Now on the other side of the book we have the woman. So this can be you, or it can be the person to whom you want to make yourself known. Now I would think this is the person who needs to make up their mind about how attractive you are, but I have to say that it's not necessarily the case. It can be another party that has an impact on whether you are attractive to that first person or to the whole situation. Of course, it depends on your specifics. So I would say from the get-go with the rider and book, this is a really helpful combination to suggest that you reveal more about yourself so that the other person can make up their mind about how attractive they find you. Now the coffin, book, and fish is also interesting because with the coffin and book we have the idea of something being closed, the idea of a closure here. And with the fish, which is about ambitions and goals, I feel the idea of revealing yourself or revealing more aspects of yourself also comes through. So we see the coffin on the left hand side and the fish on the right hand side. So there is that unfolding from left to right, which advises you maybe to open up a little bit more, to be more flexible, to be more flowing about what other people know about you. So this is a really interesting message to get in the context of this question. Now the rider, key, and fish is lovely. It is a combination of intelligence, of practicality, of resourcefulness. So I feel that one way that they find you attractive is in how down to earth you are and how smart you are, how clever you are, and how you go after your goals and you have that sense of proactivity. And certainly if you feel that that is not the case, maybe you want to show more about that aspect of yourself. Now with the snake, book, and star, this is another combination of secrecy and mystery, specifically through the snake and book here, which is definitely a combination of silence and of keeping things secret. And so with the star, again, I'm getting that sense that, well, you want to maybe reveal more aspects of yourself so that the person can make up their mind about how attractive you are. But to balance this out with the rest of the suggestions, I would also say, because of the snake, that you don't have to reveal everything about yourself. You know, it can't just be the relevant things. And with the top line here, we have a good indication that you want to show through your intelligence, how practical you are, you know, how good you are at pursuing your goals. These are some good suggestions. Now we have the coffin, scythe, and woman. This is a really curious line to get in the context of this question. Usually the scythe and coffin can point to a significant ending, and with the woman here, it can refer to the separation from a relationship, which is represented by this woman. Sometimes the coffin and scythe is a combination of death. Now, I'm not really seeing that this is relevant to the question at hand, but if, for example, there is an aspect of your life where someone had passed away and this is something that you're not talking about, and maybe it's relevant to your specifics, then maybe it can be brought into the picture. Again, I feel this is a really, really specific indication, and it might not apply to most of you from the hook group, but I'm still putting it out there just in case it can be relevant for some of you. But in general, I think this points to the idea that there was a relationship that ended. Maybe this is something that you are not talking about. Maybe this is something that you want to bring out into the open because it could make a difference to how they see you. Maybe the other person feels that you are in a relationship, so they're not really approaching you. That is a possibility that I need to put out there. So this is just a thought for what's coming through in the cards. In parallel, it's also possible that you need to bring something to a head, that you need to bring something to an ending in order to move forward with this possible attraction that we're talking about. Now let's move on to the columns. We have the rider, snake, and coffin. And again, I am seeing again and again the idea that you had been keeping yourself to yourself, that you had been really not revealing many aspects of yourself. But again, because of the rider that covers you and your first card, it is definitely an encouragement for you to open up more, to be more flexible about what you reveal about yourself, and to really just give and take more. You know, you don't need to feel like, you know, I feel like you're under a rock, like you're hiding under a rock with these cards here, but you don't need to. You might want to come out a little bit more and, you know, enjoy some give and take with other people. And I really think this is going to help you be more attractive to them. Similarly, the key, book, and scythe. The scythe really breaks open the book, and the key can bring up an interesting revelation with the book. So again, I'm seeing the idea of revealing more of yourself, of you know, opening up and really being a bit more transparent, I would say. You don't have to be transparent about everything. No one does. But it's really the idea of just being a bit more open and being willing to reveal more about yourself. And I really feel that is going to draw attraction to you. And then we see in the fish, star, and woman here that they can find you really attractive. And what's interesting is that the fish in relationships can point to the physical aspect of a relationship. So it can have that sexual element. So you could really come across as someone who's attractive, almost a turn on, you know, with the beautiful star in the middle. And again, the woman can represent you, or she can represent the other person, or perhaps a third party who somehow affects how attractive you are to the other side. But in all cases, this is a really beautiful line, very encouraging in answering this question. It is really about opening up a little bit more, being more transparent, just revealing more aspects of yourself that is going to draw this attraction to you. So I have to say, hook group, this is a really, really interesting set of cards. I love how it's possible to interpret Lenormand's cards for any context and how special they can be in answering our question, in addition to being really insightful. So let me know what you make of this. Let me know what aspects of yourself you feel you want to bring out into the open, how you can open up a little bit more so that you are more attractive to the other person, and you will be. So I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm so looking forward to our next reading together. Thank you so much for watching. Hello Key Group, here we are with your reading and your beautiful charm, and for your layout I am going to do an augmented line of 7. And remember, we are looking at how they find you attractive, if they find you attractive, and I also can allow for suggestions to come through to give you more ideas about how to become more attractive. And again, this is mainly about love, but it might be a bit different for you. So tune into what is the area you want to focus on, and let's go ahead and do your cards. For an augmented line, I like to deal them out, and of course my deck is always shuffled between readings. So let's go ahead and deal out your augmented line of 7. Okay, Key Group. Now, the main intuition that I'm getting through these cards is that I don't think they find you attractive, and I actually think there's a good reason for that. I think you're going to move on from this relationship or from this interest, and I think this might happen actually pretty soon. So the main area where I see that they don't really resonate with you or they don't really find you attractive is really in this side of the line of 7. And then on the other side, we have a couple of very beautiful, very lucky cards that also come after the whip. So let's go ahead and weave this reading together so we have the picture from the ground up. We have the Road, Coffin, and Rider. This is a very clear triplet that points to an ending. The idea of the end of the road comes through really clearly through the Road and Coffin and the Coffin and Rider. It looks like you're at the end of this journey, at the end of the line. It's very possible also that you have achieved a goal and are now ready to turn the page. In the center of everything, we have the house. The house can point to home and family. It can point to your closer circle. It can also point to a sense of privacy and intimacy. And so I feel that this could be a time when you're not really letting people into your life. This is more about making changes and bringing possibly some relationships to a head. On the other side, we have the whip. The whip is usually a challenging card. It can point to conflict, but what is really nice is the clover and sun at the end of the line. So I feel that you're ready to let go of whatever is brought by these cards, and that's mainly about this attraction or this person, because it's really time to turn the page and you are in for a better opportunity. Each of the clover and sun are about wish fulfillment, luck, victory, beauty, all around success really. Each of them individually are about that. So together, the message is really powerful. So I really feel that you don't need to worry about whether they find you attractive or not. I really think you are moving on. And I think this relationship, or what comes across as an attraction right now, is really not going to matter down the line. Now, the woman, house, and cross can point to someone who is important to your home life, to your life affairs. She can be close to home. She could be part of your family, part of your household, or just someone in your closer circles. And she is somehow relevant to this question. She could be the person whom you are considering in terms of whether you think they are attracted, she's attracted to you or not. And again, this doesn't necessarily have to be about love, but she can also be a factor that comes into play with helping you turn away from the situation. She might have good advice for you. She might highlight something important to you. And the thing about the cross is that it's not necessarily an easy card, but in this sense, I feel what she could be doing for you is making you realize certain things about this attraction, about this potential. So this is how I would read the cards. And again, in summary, Key Group, I don't think this attraction is relevant to you. I do not feel they find you attractive. And I think you're going to quickly get over that because you're going to find that this is not the person you want attention from. Now let's move on to the diamonds that we find in the augmented line. Starting with the inner one, we have the Rider, Woman, Whip, and Cross. So with the whip and cross here, we clearly have a challenge. There is this idea that something needs to come out in the open. There needs to be some kind of confrontation. I'm really picking up this idea of seeing things in a different way, some kind of realization or recognizing something. And it's not necessarily easy, but I think it's really important for your perspective and your direction. And if it's not a confrontation with this woman, I really feel that she helps you gain that insight. And she makes you realize that this is not an attraction that you want to be after. And then the Coffin, Woman, Clover, and Cross is somewhat similar in the sense that the Coffin and Woman brings this ending into play, but then the Woman and Clover and Cross suggest that it is meant to be. It is really, this attraction is not meant to be. You may not see this right away, but in time you will, and the signs will come through. So trust that you don't want this attraction in your system, in your atmosphere, if I can put it that way. And even if it's a bit painful to let go, it will be the right thing, and you will see that it is the right thing soon enough. And then we have the Road, Woman, and then Sun and Cross. The Sun and Cross is a bit like the Clover and Cross. You're going to get the right signs. You're going to make the right realizations. And I think this woman helps you move forward and helps you see that. Even if there is a bit of a challenge that comes through with her, as we saw in other combinations as well, I really think that you want to turn away from this attraction because it is going to be the right thing. And again, really the Clover and Sun at the far right of the augmented line tells us how good this will be for you, this turnaround and turning away from this potential attraction. So yes, it might be a little bit disappointing that they don't find you attractive, but I really feel that you are going to get over it soon enough, and you're going to almost like be relieved that you didn't pursue this further, because you're going to see that this is not what you want at all. And again, the idea of the house here can suggest that this is someone who is close to home, who helps you see through that. And also, in light of the other cards around it, it is a good suggestion not to be open to this kind of attraction into your life, into your system right now. So this is how I would read the augmented line of 7 for you in light of these cards, key group. Let me know if you have other thoughts or suggestions, or if any other ideas come through for you, and I'm happy to clarify further. But in general, the idea is that no, they don't really find you attractive, or perhaps they don't reciprocate the energy that you're putting out there. And actually there's a good reason for that. And even if it's not clear right now, you will soon see it. Someone is probably going to help you see it, and you're going to be happy to turn away and turn around from this. So again, leave me your thoughts and comments. I'm really looking forward to them. And until we meet again, best of luck with this situation, and thank you so much for watching. Hello luck group, here we are with your reading. I've got my deck. It is always shuffled between readings, and I have your beautiful charm here on the side watching over the reading. For your layout, luck group, I want to do a medium-sized diamond. And remember, we are looking into whether this other person or possibly this other party in a more general way finds you attractive. And of course, what I have in mind is love and romance. But like I said at the outset, it doesn't have to be necessarily the case. It might apply to you in a different context. So tune into your situation here, or this person or this party that you have in mind, so that the reading resonates with you as best as possible. I'm going to deal out your diamond. I always prefer to deal out these cards in this way because I overlap the cards when I lay them out. And of course, my deck is shuffled. So let's go ahead and deal out your cards. Okay, luck group, I have to say this is a really curious spread for you. I think this person is really confused about how they feel about you. I think they could be attracted to you, but they're also really confused about whether they want a relationship with you. And so we have the ring in the middle, but we also have challenging cards here. And the fish in relationships is very much about attraction. So I feel that this person is really of two minds when they are thinking about you. Now we're going to see if it balances towards one side more than the other. But let's go ahead and weave these cards so that we get this detail from the ground up. The snake, ring, and fish. I have to say, from the central row, I think this is someone who is attracted to you, but I also have to say that I think they might envy you. Maybe they want you or they don't want you, and they're like, they're of two minds about it. The snake can be about envy, but it can also be like really charming when it comes to relationships. So it's possible that they find you enchanting. And the fish in relationships is very attractive as well. It has to do with the physical aspects of relationships. So there can be a sexual element that is at play here, especially with the snake. That is really interesting. Now we have the stork, ring, and lily. And again, I think this would answer the question positively. The stork can be about changes, and the ring and lily can be about changes in a long-term relationship. What's interesting is that the scythe, ring, and clouds is the combination of divorce, specifically the scythe and the ring. So it's possible that this person needs to make changes in their own life, needs to make changes in their relationship because they are thinking of another one with you. Now, I'm reading the cards in terms of love and romance, but again, you might have a different context in mind. And even if it is a different context, I think it still applies rather well. This can be about making changes with existing relationships in order to attract you into the picture, whether this is about love or not. So changes in a relationship are definitely highlighted in the cards, and this affects how much they are attracted to you, or to what extent they might be able to express it. Because I think that they do have an attraction to you, and we're going to read here that there is a sense of secrecy at play. We already saw the snake, and the snake can be about silence. So it's like, you know, they have that attraction, but they have to keep it under their hat right now. Maybe this is a love triangle. I have to put it out there. Now let's move on to the square. We have the book, clouds, bird, and scythe. Again, I am seeing that there is this idea that they have it in mind, but they're not really able to express it. But the bird and scythe may well allow for a time when they're able to express it. And I really think that it might come as like being blurted out, because the bird and scythe is really about this, it's like a sudden combination. The bird can be a bit anxious. The scythe is very radical. So there can be like some kind of bottling up that we see through the book in clouds, but then with the bird and scythe, it's like it's blurted out. So it's a really curious set of cards in answer to our question. And like we saw, the scythe, ring, and clouds points to a separation, and then the book and ring is actually a combination of a proposal. And with the bird, we have this vocal aspect that comes into play. So really, the cards are telling us that they are attracted to you, but they can't tell you, or they can't express it until they resolve another relationship at their end. Now, it's possible that you're the one who's in a relationship and they feel that they can't really approach you with their attraction or express that to you because you are taken, right? Or because something else is going on with you that keeps you away from this attraction. So it can be that you're the one who's in a relationship and they're waiting on you to end this before, your attraction to each other or their attraction to you can be expressed and made like out into the open. I feel this is really coming through the cards. And like we said, the book and clouds, there's that sense of being bottled up, and the book and scythe, there is that sense of opening up. So there seems to be an issue here where things cannot be expressed yet, but they will at some point be, and then it will feel like some kind of relief and release. And when I look at this set of cards here, this little cross, we have the snake and ring and the book and scythe, and we can also read the snake, book, and then ring and scythe. There is this idea of not being able to express one's thoughts or one's feelings because there is a relationship that needs to be resolved before that can be done. And then once it is resolved, we have the bird on the other side here. The bird is the card of expression, very much in contrast with the book and snake. And so it's possible that there is a resolution, or at least the topic is opened up and you can talk about the prospect. So a really interesting set of cards, again, a lock group. Now let's look at the sides of the diamond. We have the stork, clouds, and fish. Again, I do feel there is a sense of attraction here because of the fish, but the stork and clouds causes a bit of confusion. It brings some obstacles into the picture. It's like we're not sure how to move forward. So again, I'm seeing the sense of, well, how do I make the point? How do I move forward with my attraction with this person? And then we have the fish, bird, and lily. This is where we're seeing the expression come through. The bird is a vocal card. It has to do with talking things out. And with the fish and lily here, I do think it has positive prospects. The cards are a bit neutral, but they're definitely more settled than what we're seeing in the other parts of the diamond. So it's possible that a mature conversation or an honest conversation can be had about this at some point, and it does have to do with this attraction, which is well represented by the fish. And it's also really nice to see the fish on the right hand side of the diamond, because it tells us that there is attraction and there is that kind of interest. Now the lily, scythe, and snake is another challenging card, set of cards. This is a line that T crosses the divorce combination that we saw here, and with the scythe and snake, we're definitely seeing a separation or a deep change from a situation, probably a relationship that has lasted a long time. The lily has to do with the long term, with life in a big sense, life path and milestones. And so with the lily, scythe, and snake, I'm seeing that it is time for a change from a life chapter or something that had been going on for a while. And this is not necessarily easy, like we saw the divorce combination in this line. So there can be some deep changes ahead before this attraction can come through. And then we have the snake, book, and stork. And this is a beautiful combination of a revelation. The snake and book points to secrecy and things being closed. But then the book and stork has to do with things opening up and this kind of release and relief. So very much in contrast with the snake and book. And this confirms to me that what had been closed off and a secret is going to be revealed. So how does this answer our question in general? Well, I do think there is attraction, but I think something is being held back for the time being before this person or this other party can reveal to you how attracted they are to you. There needs to be a change in a relationship. It's either they need to leave the relationship or you need to leave your relationship in order to be able to admit to each other that we are attracted to each other and we want to possibly take this forward. And I would also add that the quality of this attraction is potentially physical and sensual, and that sense of the physical kind of attraction, that kind of chemistry. That's what could be at play for you. So this can be really exciting, but I have to say that this is not an easy transition, and that a lot of things are bubbling up and need to bubble up and change and be poured out before this attraction can be admitted and worked on. So these are my thoughts for you, Lock Group, from these very, very interesting cards. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and your feedback about them. So be sure to leave me a comment or two. And until we meet again, very best of luck with this, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, Feather Group, here we are with your cards and your reading, and I am going to do a large hourglass for your layout. We've got your charm nearby, and my deck is always shuffled between readings. And remember, Feather Group, that we are looking whether this person or this third party or this other party, they find you attractive. And though I initially have the idea of love and romance in mind, it can be another area in your life that applies just as well. So tune into what you want to resonate with for this reading, and let us deal out your large hourglass. Okay, Feather Group. So I think it should be pretty obvious from the cards that this person finds you attractive. We have the sun, the clover, and the star. These are three of the most positive cards in the deck, and they have everything to do with wish fulfillment and goals materializing. We do have the fox, which is a curious card. It can point to the idea that they feel very strongly about you, but they're sort of, they're holding back a little bit. They don't want to reveal their feelings too much. And I do think that it can lead to a new connection in your relationship, or more broadly, to a new opportunity. So let's go ahead and weave these lines together and put your hourglass into a whole picture. In the central line, we have the sun, woman, and star. Now, the woman can represent you, or she can represent this other person, or she can represent a third party that is somehow involved in this picture. And in all cases, with the sun and star, she brings a wonderful energy to the reading. And if she represents you, then obviously the sun and star suggest that you are really well seen by this person. Lots of attraction, lots of good vibes, and a lot of good thoughts about you. So this central line is very clear in answering the question very positively. Like we said, both the sun, or each of the sun and star, have to do with happiness, wish fulfillment, success, and they have that sense of shining and brightness. So you can imagine that in answering your question, it very well suggests that, you know, they're attracted to you and they see you in a beautiful light. Very clear cards as far as I'm concerned. Now the top line is a bit of a different energy here. We have the mountain cross and the fox and tree. The mountain and cross can suggest the idea of an important new phase that is in the making, and possibly one that is not yet fully clear. The thing about the fox in the context of this question is that this person is holding back a little bit, or maybe they don't want to be too quick to reveal all of their thoughts and feelings towards you. And they could also be contemplating about moving into this new chapter with you, or thinking about where they can take this connection with you. With the tree, there's a bit of a slower energy. Really, all of these cards in this top line are slower in energy. So we see that there is this idea that they are very much attracted to you, but that they want to take their time with this. They don't want to reveal everything from the get-go. They don't want to reveal everything they feel about you from the beginning. There is a gradual unfolding that is happening here, and because of the mountain and cross, there could be a really good reason for it. There's no need to rush. In the bottom line, we have the child, clover, tower, and garden. And this is another very beautiful set of cards, mainly because of the clover and child in the line. The child is about a new beginning, anything new. Sometimes it's associated with children, but I don't think that's the interpretation that's going to figure for us in this context. And the clover is another one of those all-around lucky cards. Has to do with wish fulfillment. And so just from these two cards, we see that it adds to what we saw in the central line, and the idea that this person is very much attracted to you. So this can point to a new relationship. And again, with the tower, a bit like the tree, a bit like the cross and mountain, we're seeing the slower energy unfolding here. So again, this is a person who wants to take their time getting to know you, allowing the attraction to unfold, allowing the connection to unfold. And with the garden here, it can be about meetings and gatherings, or it can represent a place from the past. But again, we're seeing this idea of taking our time getting to know each other. So definitely a good idea to spend more time with this person, to make room for them, to give them the time of day. I think this is a beautiful attraction that can unfold really positively on its own time and in a gradual way. Now let's move on to the mini portraits. We have the one on the left. It has the sun in the middle. It is a beautiful set of cards. We have the mountain, sun, and clover. What's interesting is that the mountain and sun can refer to summer. It can refer to a place abroad, somewhere sunny like a beach, or, a resort or something like that. And with the clover here, in addition to the beautiful sun, this can point to wish fulfillment materializing. Any obstacles or coldness or rigidity that can be represented by the mountain is really melted away, and there is that sense of warmth that comes through. So any way you look at these cards, whether it's about timing or a certain place that gives this opportunity, or if it's about some kind of obstacle that needs to melt away, there are very positive outcomes and very positive developments that come through in this attraction. With the child, sun, and cross, we are seeing something that is meant to be. There is a very beautiful beginning here. Definitely a beautiful opportunity for a relationship, or something else happening, depending on the specifics of your context or the specifics within which you're thinking about for this question. But in all cases, the sun really delivers lots of warmth, a beautiful new beginning thanks to the child and cross, and really something that is meant to be. This can be a really important attraction. It can prove to be a very important relationship, and certainly it feels good and it feels right. In the central mini portrait, we have the woman here, and again we have the cross, but it's also with the tower. And each of these cards can point to that sense of guidance and that sense of destiny, a bit of a mystery unfolding here. So like we said, the woman can represent you, or she can represent another person, or the person who is attracted to you. And again, we're seeing that sense of importance that comes through, but also the sense of steadiness and allowing things to unfold gradually on their own time. So I really feel that this can be an important chapter, an important phase that is ahead. This attraction leads to something important. Now, the Clover, Woman, and Fox. The Woman and Fox would be a tricky combination. It would really point to someone who is half-hearted, who is not transparent, who has their own tricks up their sleeves and their own agenda at play. But because of the Clover and all of the other beautiful cards that surround the woman in this hourglass, I think that the Fox takes on a better kind of meaning, a more positive meaning. And with the woman, this is clearly someone who does not want to reveal everything about how they feel about you, but it's also possible that the woman represents you, in which case you also want to play a little bit hard to get. So there's a bit of a tug here, but with the Clover, it is lovely and it is fun. And maybe that's the best way to play it, you know, to just go slow and to not reveal everything from the get-go. Now moving on to the last mini portrait, we have the star in the middle here on the right hand side. And obviously, like the sun, the star is an all-around wish fulfillment card. Lots of healing, lots of beautiful vibes. And it does have to do with goal achievement, and also in the context of our question, very much about attraction and magnetism and chemistry at play. So the Fox, Star, and Garden is a bit like what we saw between the Fox and Clover. It is a good idea not to reveal everything about how you feel from the get-go, and also the other person feels the same way. You know, it's sort of like, you know, playing it a little bit slower and maybe playing hard to get. The Garden and Star is beautiful for getting together, for connection, and also being appreciated by others. So really a beautiful set of cards in answering this question. And we have the Tower, Star, and Tree. And again, we're seeing another indication of things unfolding over time. So definitely this is about a positive attraction. The Star and Tree is very beautiful in the sense, as is the Tower and Star, but they're both really slow cards. So really a gradual unfolding and a gradual connection. It's also possible that even though the feelings are warm right from the beginning, they get deeper with time, and the connection deepens with time, and so there is a closer connection and more attraction that unfolds over time. Really, this is an all-around beautiful hourglass in answering this question. It's really just the Fox that tells us that there's a bit of a... It is really just the Fox that can be a little bit tricky, but really in the context of all the other cards, it is very much about playing a little bit hard to get, you know, flirting, and, you know, this lovely little tug that can happen in an attraction. And like I said, I was reading this in the context of love and romance, but the cards are equally really, really positive for the context of work. In fact, when you look at the Fox and Tower, it can refer to the job. And the Tower and Garden and the Fox and Garden can also refer to the job or business, or, you know, the idea of working with others in whatever format you do that. Or any context, these are beautiful cards that point to a wonderful attraction that deepens with time. So let me know your thoughts about this feather group. I'm really looking forward to them. And until we meet again, very best of luck with this, and thank you so much for watching. Take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scissors group, here we are with your reading and your beautiful charm on the side. And I've got my deck. It is always shuffled between readings. And for your layout, Scissors group, I am going to do a double line of 5. And remember, we are looking at whether they are attracted to you. And if it is in the context of love, that is fine, but it can also apply in another context for you. So tune into the area of your life that you want to resonate with for this reading. And the reading can also suggest ways to enhance this attraction, or maybe how to move forward with it. So let's go ahead and deal out your double line of 5. Okay, Scissors group, this is quite an exciting spread. We have a very strong relationship element coming through. We have the ring, man and woman in the top line, and everything else in the double line is really beautiful and very promising. It is really just the mouse that sort of sets things off a little bit. The good thing is that the mouse is not very strong and it's challenged. So what I'm seeing here, and especially in view of the fact that it's on the right hand side of the double line, is that there could be a few speed bumps ahead to move this relationship forward. But it is clearly in the context of a relationship. I do think it's most likely about love and romance and attraction. But again, if this is in another area of your life, there can still be a really positive collaboration that comes through. So let's go ahead and weave this double line together. Starting with the top row, we have the child, ring, man, woman, and mouse. So very clearly, we can see that this is a prospect for a new relationship. And just looking at the child, ring, man, and woman, from these cards, it is very likely that this kicks off into a new relationship. The thing about the mouse is that there can be a bit of an issue kicking it off. Maybe there are a few challenges ahead, a few speed bumps ahead. And also, the mouse can bring up issues of doubts and trust. So maybe there's going to be a few issues that need to be ironed out. But from an attraction point of view, it is very much there, and it is very much about some kind of close collaboration if it's not straight up love and romance for you. So very obvious cards that point to attraction. Just a little bit of doubt moving forward, but it's very much there. In the bottom line, we have another set of very, very beautiful and promising cards. We have the clover, the road, the key, sun, and fish. So the clover, key, and sun, each of them are wish fulfillment cards. They are very positive, and it's very clear to me that there is attraction. The road is about moving forward, and so again, I feel this aligns really well with the idea of kicking off a relationship. So this can be in the earlier phases of a relationship for you. And the fish is very much about physical attraction and that kind of chemistry. So there can be a lot of sensuality and, that part of a relationship that is coming through this attraction. But it's pretty clear to me that this looks like a really positive development and a lot of positive potential for a relationship because the attraction is very, very clearly there. Now let's weave the columns, the two card combinations here. The child and clover is really wonderful for a new beginning. So again, it suggests that we are in the earlier phases of this attraction, but it's certainly kicking off on a beautiful note here. Each of the child and clover are happy cards. So together, it's very clear that this carries a lot of potential. The ring and road is about a relationship unfolding. It's very clear to me, Scissors Group, that you want to pursue this because it does carry a lot of potential. And not just potential in general, but the idea of the ring and all the other cards, they have a sense of depth to them. So this can turn out to be a pretty serious connection. The man and key suggest that he is very much attracted to you. If you are the man, you are very much like the person who is desired. And we have the woman and sun, so same thing. Whether you're the man or the woman, there seems to be a mutual attraction here. You're attracted to them, they're attracted to you. There is a lot of chemistry. It is really just the mouse that sort of puts things off a little bit. It does cause a bit of doubt, a bit of speed bumps, but I don't think it is strong enough to overcome all of the wonderful interpretations that we could get through these very, very positive cards. Instead, I feel the mouse suggests slowing down a little bit, maybe getting to know the other person a little bit more. If there are doubts, or maybe you're testing each other to make sure that this attraction is mutual, and that is perfectly fine. And the mouse and fish can be maybe some practical issues that can come in the way, a few speed bumps here and there. I would also encourage you to be safe and to practice safety in this relationship. I just want to put out the idea that the fish is sometimes associated with fertility. And with the mouse here, you might want to, take care, prevent pregnancy and things like that in the context of a sexual relationship. I'm just putting it out there in case it applies for you. Another way we can look at the mouse and fish in the context of this question is in terms of money. So if there are money issues that interfere in the relationship, make sure they are aside, okay? Don't let materialism and materialistic elements come into play. That would be the warning through the mouse. And also, if this relationship is not about love and romance, but it's more about work and collaboration, then the collaboration looks really exciting, but the money part might not be as exciting as you like. Still, I do think it's okay because it can be overcome. And I'm seeing this through the diagonal. So we have the sun next to the mouse, and the sun easily overcomes the mouse and help you recover any of the issues that can be brought up from it. So let's back up to the beginning of the diagonal. It starts with the child, road, and then the man, sun, and mouse. So this is a wonderful new beginning in this relationship. And again, I think the sun easily overcomes the issues brought by the mouse, if any. And in the other one, we have the clover, ring, key, woman, and fish. Similarly, this is wonderful for a relationship, and it's really because we have both the man and woman that figures in this double line of 5. Obviously, these are very powerful cards for a relationship. They bode really, really well for a connection and an attraction. I think they easily overcome any doubts or issues brought by the mouse. It's just an indication here not to be materialistic, not to allow materialistic elements to come into play, because there is depth to this relationship, and I really think that it can kick off into something serious. So allow the unfolding to happen, let things unfold naturally. You're still at the beginning. Allow it to deepen, and if there are issues that come up, explore them and take your time understanding what's behind them. So let me know how you like these ideas, Scissors Group. Very, very exciting cards for an attraction. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and comments, so make sure you leave me 1 or 2. And until we meet again, very best of luck with this. Thank you so much for watching, and take very good care of yourself.